Hey, fellow outdoors farmers friends. Alec Peirce at the ranch with another little tip, just a little idea that I popped across and it seemed like a good idea to me. Maybe it'll help you too. So I have an anvil. We use the anvil for a lot of things, mainly anviling. Anyway, banging stuff, you know, if I have to bend something or hammer, I use the anvil. Now an anvil by its very nature needs to have a good solid base. I have a good solid base, okay? There's 2 feet of solid ash. I didn't even take the bark off, just cut it off, and then lagged the anvil down, and it worked pretty well. While I was trying to figure that out, I came across an idea on good old Google, my best friend Google, and about talking about bases for anvils and other things too. And I came up with this idea. Well, I didn't come up with it. I stole this idea, okay? Now, if you are a farmer, you know what this is. If you're not a farmer, I'll explain. This thing at the bottom, the round part, not this piece of 1.5 inch steel, but that part on the bottom, that's a disc. From a disc Harrow. Now, if you're around, if you live in the country and you're around, or look it up, disc Harrow, D-I-S-C Harrow, H-A-R-R-O-W. A disc Harrow is critical to farmers. It's similar to a plow, but it does a different job. A disc harrow will break up the soil and make it ready for planting. There may be another step in there, but it'll break it up, aerate it, flip it over so it's in good shape and get it ready. Now there's many of these discs and they're sharp and they're clean and there may be a roll of them and maybe a lot, big machines have a lot, and these discs go along and they have a lot of weight and they dig into the soil, and because of the shape they just flip the soil over a little bit, and so it breaks the soil up. Now disc harrows are pretty neat. Unfortunately, every once in a while one of these blades, they're not terribly expensive, every once in a while one of these blades breaks. This is what happens. It hits a stone and they're sharp, so they're brittle, and sometimes it hits a stone, whack. And unfortunately, once that happens, the disc is not very useful. It tends to throw the machine off a little bit, and it doesn't work nearly as well as it should. So basically, if that disc breaks, they throw it away. That's why you'll see, if you look in catalogs, you're into farm stores, you'll see discs for sale. So farmers can buy them to replace, and they're easy to replace. You just bolt on. So anyway, this idea that I saw was simple. There it is. Ba-ba-doo. Broken discs, or discarded discs if you like, are cheap. The farmer should give it to you. Now I know that farmers are cheap too. And if he thinks you want it, he'll probably ask you for some money, but no, they throw them away. You can get them in junk piles, or ask your farmer friend, your neighborly farmer friend, if he has any broken discs, or tell him to save them. He'll have some eventually. And get a couple of these discs, and then all you have to do is weld an appropriate piece of rod on it to the appropriate height. So you see an anvil like this could mount right here on top. Put a steel bracket, bolt it to, weld that bracket to the top, make sure it's solid, set the anvil there. And this is much nicer, much lighter to start with, and much easier to move around than that big heavy log. But you can put a grinder on this, you can put all kinds of tools and things, anything that you need to mount on some kind of a base. Instead of buying a $100 fancy base from Home Depot or Harbor Freight, make your own. It only takes 5 or 10 minutes to make it, and you can custom fit it to the tool or the purpose that you want it for. So it seemed like a good idea for me. Now, to be perfectly honest, I've not yet used this one. I've got the anvil on this log, and I don't want to bother taking it off now until the log rots, which it will in a year, maybe 2. But I have this handy here, and I'm ready when I need to go out and mount something to work around the ranch, away from the garage where I have lots of tables. I'm all set to go. A disc, what is this called? A disc base or a disc base? Yeah. A disc harrow base, whatever. Anyway, neat idea. I thought you might want to see that and my anvil and see how we do it here. Okay, that's it, guys. Talk to you soon. The sun's out, so I'm going to go and have some fun. Alec Peirce at the ranch. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.